Hello everyone, welcome back. This is session 7 of the 30-day at-home handstand challenge. Make sure you guys follow the warm-up before you begin today. I'll link that up at the top. You can also find it down in the description below. Today we're gonna be building on what we practiced in the last session, in session 6. So if you guys haven't watched that video already, make sure you go do that first and then come and practice this session, as it's gonna build off of some of the techniques and some of the drills that we worked on in the last session. If you guys are ready, let's get started and let's do some balance work. Okay, so when we're balancing on the hands, you'll see people that are more advanced in their hand balancing work, and what they'll do is they'll kick up and it'll look like they're frozen. They're perfectly still, they're perfectly stacked, their body is nice and straight. That's where we want to get to, but that's not where we're gonna start. In the beginning, we want to learn how to save balance, and we want to learn how to fight to stay in that handstand. And over time, as our understanding of the position increases, then we're going to be refining how we balance. And most of the balance is going to be coming from the wrists. So what we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about overbalancing and underbalancing. Overbalancing is when it feels like we're going to fall onto our back. Underbalancing is when it feels like we're gonna fall onto our stomach. And there's a couple of things that we can do to try to save each. Now, when I'm on my hands, if I feel that I'm gonna start to fall towards my belly, what I can do is I can stick my head out, my shoulders out to compensate for that fall, which is gonna help pull me back up to the position. The other option is to bend the arms to push back up into the position. If I'm falling onto my back, I'm gonna start to stick my head through my arms to try to save that shape. Typically when we're on two hands, that's usually where we're gonna fall. We're gonna be falling forwards or we're gonna be falling backwards. So the way to practice this is to use the wall. For the overbalance and underbalance, we're gonna be against the wall, and we're gonna be practicing a slide away exercise that I got from Sasha when I was doing an advanced handstand workshop. And then we're gonna be doing a Mexican handstand pull. So that's the one where it's got a kind of a big arch in it, but it's more open through the shoulders. Anywho, we're gonna do 3 reps of each exercise, and we're gonna do 2 sets of each. So you can alternate them. You can do 3 slideaways, and then you can do 3 Mexican pulls, or you can go 2 sets of 3 slideaways, and then 2 sets of 3 Mexican pulls. We just want 2 sets each, so we can get 6 reps total. I'm gonna demonstrate each one. Slide away first, we're belly towards the wall. The closer we get, the easier it's gonna be. The further away the hands are, the harder this one's gonna be. So we're on the hands, we're keeping the body nice and tight. Shoulders tall, belly tight. We lean from the shoulders until I feel my feet light. I push up to a handstand, and I come back to the wall. The goal, as I push up, is to feel a little balance here before coming back to the wall. So we got 3 reps before we take a break. For the Mexican handstand, we're gonna be kicking up to the wall, and we're gonna be pulling our feet off of the wall. This one, we're coming all the way down to the floor. You can hold a handstand on this one if you want, but I want to see a full pull all the way down. So we're going hands down. Again, the further away, the harder it's gonna be. Feet on the wall, looking at my hands. Now, we don't wanna have a saggy body on this one. I'm gonna keep my ribs lifted, gonna keep my bum tight, and I'm gonna push my shoulders through the arms till my feet pull off the wall and I come down. We're gonna do 3 of those. Remember, ribs lifted, armpits open, feet off the wall. 1 more. Push those arms, feet come through. Once you guys have done 2 sets of 3 of each exercise, let's get into the balance work. We're getting back on the wall today for some balance work. Now, last day, what we were doing is we were doing some partial handstands where we're pulling the foot together and then putting the foot back and using that wall as a guide and trying to touch balance as many times as we could. Today, we're gonna touch that balance, but we're gonna hold it. So my hope is that by practicing the underbalance and the overbalance stuff that we just did, that we're gonna be able to fight to try to keep the center of mass in the middle of the hands. So remember to spread those hands out nice and big. And we're gonna fight to try to keep the weight in the center of the hands today by using that underbalance, by using that overbalance, by fighting with the wrist. Basically, the goal is just to hold that handstand as long as you can. Now, here's what we're gonna do is we're gonna go for a minute total. We're gonna walk up to the handstand, just like we did in the last session. Remember to give your body and the wall a bit of space. You're gonna set those hands. Nice big fingers on the floor, looking straight in between your hands with the shoulders tall, ribs lifted, bum tight.
One foot comes up in the air until we feel the bounce. Once our feet come together, we're gonna start to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you're just gonna keep counting as far as you can until you either touch back to the wall or take a step on the hand. Let's make sure that when we're doing this balance, we're using both the under balance and the over balance that we practiced to fight to stay in the middle. Go as long as you can until you feel the shape starting to break or you start to get tired. Put the feet on the wall, come back down, take a break, and then on your next set, you're gonna start at whatever number you got to. So maybe you got a 5-second hold, take a break as much as you need, and then walk back up and start from 5. We're going all the way until we get to 60 seconds. I encourage you guys to film your sets today. Put your phone on the side and film each handstand that you're doing. And every time you come down, you can watch back that video and it'll give you instant feedback into what you might need to be focusing on more. Without a coach there to tell you to open up your shoulders or to push tall or to lift your ribs or to squeeze your legs, it's very hard to know what things we might be making a mistake on when we're in the handstand position. But if you film it, you'll be able to get immediate feedback on what thing might need more attention. Now, once you know what that thing is, maybe the shoulders are a little closed, maybe we're arching in the back, we can spend time in between the set, in between when we came down and before we go back up for the next one, to try to fix that position. So let's say you notice your shoulders were closed, we can work on some cat stretching to open up those shoulders or to work on some dislocates with the dowel to get more mobility in the shoulders. If we notice that we're arching really bad, then we can do some hollow leg lifts to try to reset that position. By filming your sets in this way, we're gonna learn much quicker and we're gonna be able to apply those corrections to the handstand work against the wall, and you're gonna find you're gonna start to learn a lot faster. And the last piece today, guys, once you've done your minute of balance against the wall, we're gonna play around with some press work on the floor. Now, the main goal as we're pressing in the early stages is to develop strength in the shoulders, to be able to maintain an open shoulder position. To do this, we work on the bottom part of the press. This is the most challenging piece. So what we're gonna try today is we're gonna try some pike lifts, some straddle lifts, and some tuck lifts. So what these look like is we're on the floor. We're gonna start with our hands nice and close to our feet. This is why having the good flexibility in the hamstrings is really important. Hands on the ground. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna squish the shoulders right onto our ears. We're gonna lean our hips over our hands. We don't wanna lean our shoulders, we wanna lean our hips over our hands. Once we feel the feet starting to get light, we're gonna pull the legs into the body. We don't wanna kick our feet backwards. That's gonna create more lean from the shoulders. It's gonna make it a lot harder. So we wanna pull the legs in. So what we're gonna try to do is we're gonna set those shoulders nice and strong, hips over the hands until we can lift and put our feet back down. Watch again. Shoulders strong, I lean, I lift, and I put my feet back down. If you can get this one in a pike, then we're gonna keep the feet together, we're gonna lift up, we're gonna open the legs, and then we're gonna put them back together, back to the floor. When we open, again, it's really important to not kick the feet back. If we do that, we start to planche, and unless you're super strong, it's gonna make it way harder. So keep the legs closed and simply open, and then put them back together. So that's gonna look like this. Shoulders strong, lean the hips, pull the feet in, open, and close. We put them back together. I'm trying to keep my legs as close to my body as I can. If you don't have a good pike position, if this shape is really open, pressing to a handstand, it's not impossible, but it's gonna be very, very difficult and a lot more inefficient than it would be if you have a better position. Now, if we can get the one in straddle, we're gonna try to one in a tuck. This is what this one's gonna look like. We're gonna pull the knees in, and then I'm gonna simply bring my heels to my bum. Shoulders are tall, I lean, knees, bend, and back. So, those are your challenges for today, guys. Building the basic strength that you need for press. Once you have those bottom positions, pressing all the way up to a handstand is no problem. If you can get a little lift off your feet here, and you can hold this shape, it's really easy then to roll the feet up and get all the way up into a press.
All right, guys, that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining me in session 7 as we learn to balance on the hands. Remember to tag me in your work on Instagram so I can take a look and see what your balance is looking like, what your shapes are looking like. You filmed it today, so no excuse. Go on there, tag me. I can give you guys some feedback on what might help the balance a little bit more. And with that, I'll see you guys all on Friday for the next session, the final session of balance work before we jump into a little bit more advanced stuff. Hope you guys are doing well. I'll see you later. Peace.